The most collected authors in Australia today are Norman Lindsay, Ian Idriess, Arthur Upfield, Carter Brown, and I guess Patrick White is a distant fifth. But in my experiences in 30 years book selling, they're the most collected Australian authors. Other booksellers will have different experience, but that's mine. And we are very excited at our coming auction. We're selling a collection of Norman Lindsay, which people are talking about, but we're also selling a complete collection of the works of Ian Idriess, all in first edition, most of them in dust wrapper. Some of them, of course, the Gorilla series were issued without dust wrapper. And we've also got the gouger of the bulletin thrown in too. Idriess was a great knockabout character. He was born in the, I think it was 1889 he was born, and he was based in Sydney. He lived till the 1970s, and he travelled Australia. He was a World War I soldier. He was in the Light Horse during World War I, and his fabulous book Desert Column tells of his experiences in World War I. And he travelled the country and the near Pacific, and he wrote extensively of it. Now, he was one of the best-selling Australian authors of all time. His books went to, if you take all his 56 books or 55 books and added up how many editions they went to, it's many, many thousands of editions. Lots of the books are still being printed today. And he wrote for people. People read the books and they lapped them up. They couldn't get enough of them because he wrote about this romantic Australia. It was romantic because people lived in the cities and they dreamt about Idriess, or about the sort of experiences Idriess had. And he was a knockabout bloke. He could sit by the campfire and take in everything. He was a great observer, and he could write his experiences charmingly and in a way that people wanted more. So the books here they are, you can see. His first book was published by Cornstalk Publishing in 1927. That was called Madman's Island. This is it here. This one has a facsimile dust wrapper. There's about, I know of 4 copies of this book in the original dust wrapper. So it's a very scarce book on its own. I think that, well, I sold a copy of this in dust wrapper about 10 years ago. I sold it for $2,500, and the interest in Idriess since then has increased enormously. I would sell, if I had a copy of this book in the original dust wrapper now, I'd price it at $5,000 and I would expect to sell it. So here's the first edition of Madman's Island, and it's in the facsimile dust wrapper, and you can see there it's published by Cornstalk. Now what happened, he wrote this book in 27 and it was published by Angus and Robertson. I think there were 2,000 copies of the book published, and it wasn't a great success commercially. So the publisher suggested that he rewrite it with a romantic interest, which he did. He changed it around a bit, and that's you can call this the second edition of the book, or the same book rewritten. Now this is in the original dust wrapper, and this is published, we can turn it around there and we can see it's published in 1938, about 10 years later. And both copies of Madman's Island are very beautiful, and the second one has the very attractive original dust wrapper. Now, the other real scarcities that people get excited about, Cyaniding for Gold. This is the first edition of Cyaniding for Gold. The dust wrapper on this is a facsimile. 13 of the books here, those 13 there, are all facsimile dust wrappers. All the rest of the books here are original dust wrappers. So this is a very good copy of Cyaniding for Gold. You can see it there. It's an excellent copy, and there it is. That's the first edition, and it's a beautiful copy. There's no foxing. It's as white as anything, a very fine copy. Now some of the other real rarities of Idriess, these are the gorilla books. There's 6 gorilla books: The Scout, Lurking Death, Trapping the Jap, Guerrilla Tactics, Sniping, and Shoot to Kill. And these were published for the Australian Army. Had an influence in getting Idriess to publish these, and they're kind of advice to the people how to win the war if the Japs did invade. And it was a wake-up call for Australians, and they're pretty horrible things in many ways. The times were different to now, but how to trapping the Jap and shoot to kill. Pretty horrible things. But these are enormously scarce. These over the last few years, I've seen them sell. I've seen them sell cheap ones, $500 or $600. I've seen them sell for over $2,000 each. And these are superior copies. They're wonderful copies of these. They're all fabulous, and that row there, very scarce. Easily worth $10,000 or $15,000 just for those ones. Some of the other scarcities. This is the first edition of The Great Trek. Now, it's a kid's book basically, and it was published in this large format. The second edition is published in a smaller format, and often people mistake the second edition for this first edition. So there's 2 of these. There's 2 in this format. Here's the other one, Headhunters of the Coral Sea. Now, I suspect that they came with dust wrappers, but I don't know for sure. I haven't been able to track down dust wrappers for either of these books, and I've spoken to all the Idriess, well maybe not all the Idriess collectors, but I've spoken to lots of Idriess collectors, and I've checked with the libraries around, and I have never seen a dust wrapper for these 2, and neither has anyone that I know of. Someone's going to ring me up and tell me they've got one soon, I hope. But there's those, and these are all in dust wrapper. Original Fortunes in Minerals in the original dust wrapper. There they are, all there. Our Living Stone Age, the Diamond. And this is going as one collection at our auction on April the 18th. Come along and have a look at it. The books will be able to be viewed the weekend before the auction. So come along, even if you're not interested in buying, come along and have a look and increase your bibliographical knowledge.